and then we'll begin our practice. So yes, coming to sit. If you'd like to sit on a prop, pillow, blanket, block, whatever is best for you. If you want to begin your practice laying down, you can as well, or maybe you arrive into a child's pose shape or whatever is going to feel most comfortable for your body. After moving around, and whenever you're ready, we'll settle into stillness, allowing the palms to rest within the lap, allowing the eyes to soften or completely close. We'll take a moment here to arrive. Maybe taking a cleansing breath, feeling and finding and creating the openness within the body. How can we use our time in stillness and stretch to allow the body to be a receiver? Not only receiving sensations, but also receiving the breath, receiving any messages from the inner body. And not just the body, right? There's messages from the mind space and messages from the heart space. But as we continue to ground and as we continue to connect to the physical body throughout our practice, notice how these different yoga shapes and stillness can help be a receiver in some way. And so with this in mind, we'll come to open up our practice with some breaths here. Together, we'll breathe in through the nose and open the lips to exhale. Again, like that, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Next round of breath, hands can stay relaxed within the lap or hands could gather into prayer. We'll either take another cleansing breath or join me for the sound of Om as we breathe in. Om. Gently bowing the chin to the chest. Taking a moment to allow the breath and the vibrations to settle within the heart space, to reverberate off the walls of the inner body, and to seal our intentions for practice. Whenever you're ready, you'll slowly open the eyes and bring the hands away. Welcoming ourselves here, we'll start this evening in dove. So we'll let ourselves come back to lay. If you're already laying, then you can stay. Once we come to lay down, let me switch this over. We might take a pillow or blanket for the back of the head, but the knees will stay bent and the feet come flat to the floor here. We'll start with the left leg opening out to the side. And as we open this left leg, if you want to use a blanket or a pillow or something and prop your outer thigh, you can, or you'll just let it open towards the floor. Maybe that pillow or blanket will reach around you and you'll tuck it underneath your right hip or the tailbone, or maybe not. But of course, you can choose to use your props however is best to let the body be comfortable. Letting the body feel supported in stillness, because the stillness is where we're getting the discomfort. It's not supposed to come from the shape of the body or the shape of the pose. And so rearrange your props. Let your arms and hands relax near you or maybe farther away, up above the head. And then when you're ready, we'll close our eyes. We'll come to stillness. I'll start our timer here. If by now you're looking for a little bit more stretch, you can take your left foot and walk it underneath your right thigh. That will change the direction that the knee is pointing in. And as you're testing the different ways that you could be stretching, depending on where you keep your legs or where you keep your arms, you'll begin to settle into a space that might be most intriguing for you, depending on what you're feeling. And then as we tune in to notice the breath, we'll let the body begin to soften here. Relaxing through the layers of muscles and the layer of bones. And continuing to notice the length of the tissue. And as we continue to gravitate towards stillness, notice how the body is a receiver in its own way. What messages are coming through via physical sensation or thought or feeling. And let's hang here for a few more breaths. Absorbing anything else this particular side is sharing. And then on your next breath, we'll gently begin to lower the arms. Let that left palm reach for that outer left knee. We'll hug the leg into the chest. Maybe you hug both knees and we gently rock from side to side. You're more than welcome to. Taking any other movements until you'd like to pause in rebound. Maybe the knees knock in towards each other. Maybe you let the legs go long. But where is it where you'd like to take that moment of rest, almost like a mini shavasana? Noticing any subtle sensations or any calmness floating throughout the body. Now you're more than welcome to stay in rebound a little bit longer. Before we take dove on the opposite side, we're going to come into a twist. So let's hug the knees into the chest. We will be twisting to the right so that the left leg is still on top. You're welcome to take more of a supine twist and bring any props underneath that bottom right knee if you'd like as you twist. Or we'll have the option to create more of a pinwheel. Right leg can lengthen, and as you twist to the right, just the left knee stays bent, and that might give your back some space as well in this twist. Whether the right leg lengthens or the right knee bends underneath you a bit, doing whatever is best. And so finding the best twist for at least right now. You can always change your variations throughout your time. But then when you're ready, closing your eyes and settling here. Since we just stretched in dove on this left side, you might be noticing similar sensations or maybe new places within the body that are stretching and releasing unnecessary tension. Checking in with your breath from time to time. Maybe the breath helps to guide these different layers of messages to the conscious awareness. And as we continue to soften, helping to support the stretch as we let the body relax. This helps increase our understanding of body awareness as we take the time to notice any clenching, any gripping, and then gently letting it release. We'll be in our twist for a few more breaths. Maybe taking another full inhale and a full exhale. And then whenever you're ready, we'll gently begin to unravel from the twist. Taking your time here. You might find some counter movements. The knees can windshield wiper, or the legs can hug into the chest. Maybe the legs stretch up towards the ceiling. Whatever is best for you until you're ready to find that moment to pause and rebound. Where the body rests in a comfortable place. Noticing any subtle sensations, letting the fascial tissue contract back. Letting the body soften, even in rebound. And if you'd like to stay in rebound a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to stay. However, if you're ready to release and come into dove on the right side, we might move some props around. Knees will be bent, feet come flat to the floor. You can, of course, readjust your pelvis, allowing this right knee to open out to the side. And we know where we're going now. If you need to prop that outer right thigh, you can. If you need to prop this left hip or tailbone, feel free. And wherever the foot lands, sometimes you already get enough of a stretch or something that your body is willing to work with. But if you need something different, you can always slide your right foot underneath your left thigh. Depending on how high or how low this foot rests, you can always get a different stretch. So, of course, as you explore, deciding what's best for you. And then letting the hands and arms relax. Observing the sensations. Whatever knots of tissue are present, that's where the body will stretch first. And gently letting go of any clenching or gripping. Notice how that might interfere not only with the stretch, but also with receiving any messages, any nuggets of wisdom, any ideas. letting the softening help to reclaim space within the body and space within our awareness. And let's hang out here in dove for a few more breaths. You might reposition the body if needed or if guided, or maybe you stay exactly where you are. And then on your next breath, very slowly, let's lower the arms all the way down to the outer hips and thighs. Right hand will reach for that outer right knee. We'll gently hug the leg into the chest. Maybe the left leg will follow, gently arriving into any counter movements, not just for the legs, but maybe even for the arms. They could stretch up above. You might take a little bridge pose here or readjust the body however you'd like. And then transitioning into rebound, letting the body settle into stillness in any way that is comforting or nourishing. We might feel the echoes of the tissue as it contracts back. It's almost like a sensation of a residue. And that information, that new information, settling into the muscle memory of the body. And as you take these breaths here, still feeling subtle sensation, or maybe notice how it drifts away, you can either stay a little bit longer or we'll transition into our twist on the opposite side. So now bringing the knees back into the chest. You might take a supine twist to the left, of course, and any blankets or pillows if needed to prop that bottom left knee. If you're going for more of the pinwheel option, right leg can stay bent into the chest, and as you begin to twist, left knee might unbend, and that leg can lengthen towards the opposite side of the mat. If you're looking to bend the left knee as well, it's still a pinwheel twist. It's just going to guide you into a different angle, so it might draw out a few different stretches. But yes, settling into the twist in any direction, letting your legs and arms decide where is most comfortable for them to be in relation to the stretch. And then body settles here. The netting of our tissue being gently pulled and guided in different directions. Yet the entire fascial system activated or engaged with in some way. If you haven't already, we can begin to soften into the body. And this softening is a consistent thing. Almost like a daily practice. More space for the jaw to relax into, more space for the shoulders to release. And as we rest in stillness here, not looking for anything specific, just letting the body be a receiver, the shape of the body, the breath of the body. And we're going to be in our twist for a few more breaths. Maybe taking one more full cycle of breath. And then when you're ready, you're welcome to release from your twist. No rush in doing so. The body might gently unravel and guide you straight into rebound. You might take a few counter movements first. Notice how there's no strict or particular dialogue occurring within the mind. We're not telling you to go from one shape to the other, just flow into it based off of feeling or intuition or whatever is most comfortable or nourishing. Find the body as it rests here, noticing subtle sensations, shifts in temperature or awareness. And whenever you're ready, you might choose to stay here and rebound a little longer. You're more than welcome to do that. But if you'd like to come up to sit, we'll move into a forward fold. Feel free to come up to sit however you'd like. And sometimes even taking a few counter movements, stretches for the arms and such, since we haven't sat yet. And then I'm going to give you two options so you can choose between these different forward folds. We're going to allow this left shin to come in front of us. And option one is you'll take this right leg, out to the side in like a half V shape for half dragonfly, right? Instead of reaching over this front shin though, or thigh, you're still gonna fold over this left leg. So you would take your blocks or your blankets and pillows and stack some things, fold over the left shin, right? It's just that the leg is in half dragonfly. If you'd like to come into deer, you'll just bend into that knee and bring it behind you a little bit. You still have that left shin in front of you. You'll fold over the shin. Okay, so both are good stretches. It just depends on which way your hip wants to move today, whether neutral or internally rotating it. Regardless of half dragonfly or deer, you might want to prop your tailbone at the edge of a pillow or a blanket. You might even choose to sit tall and bring your fascia in this vertical sense as we lengthen. And you're still in the stretch, because if you're going to hold this for 3 minutes, you'll feel sensation. However, if you are choosing to rounding is okay as well, as long as we're just not slouching, right? So our goal is to not slouch into it. We're either vertical and holding our posture for engagement of fascia, or we're tilting and then rounding into the spine. But of course, any amount, because you can do this at any height. Maybe pillow is vertical and you can kind of put your props around it, let your forehead rest. Then you can bring your hands down. So there's many different ways. Just using your props like Legos. But half dragonfly or deer, either way will fold over this left shin. Readjusting that left shin to be as close or as far as you'd like, whatever will suit the stretch for you. And then whenever you're ready, we'll settle into stillness. Allowing the eyes to soften or to close them. If you haven't already, we'll gently begin to soften. Feeling the body relax layer by layer. And in some ways, we're finding ourselves letting go of control to actually regain control. letting go of any clenching or gripping. And focusing on the body being a receiver here. What are you observing? What are you witnessing? Checking in with the breath from time to time. Maybe noticing the gaze or the picture here at the backs of the eyelids. We'll be in our forward fold for a few more breaths. And then very gently, we'll press down into the floor and slowly walk ourselves up to sit. Taking your time, you might move some props out of the way. You might shift your body off to the side, unravel your legs, however they guide you. You might take a few seated counter movements here for the arms, for the legs, for the torso. And sometimes your counter movements, it could be a twist or things that you've done in other yoga classes. Sometimes they're just that natural movement, like when you wake up from a nap or when you wake up from sleeping in the morning. But you'll pause somewhere to rebound, whether you're sitting, laying, child's posing, whatever it is. Just taking a moment to resonate with that previous experience. Still guiding your meditation by noticing the breath and noticing the body. And staying present. And if you'd like to stay in rebound a little bit longer, you are welcome to stay. However, if you'd like to come into the forward fold on the opposite side, whether it's half dragonfly or deer, you're welcome to choose what will work best for this side. It does not have to be the same. Whatever is going to be best for this opposite hip. So now the right shin will come in front of us. Again, you might prop your tailbone, your glutes, one hip, both hips with a pillow or blanket. Left leg will open out to the side for that half dragonfly shape as we fold over the right shin with our props, or we'll bend into the knee behind us here, left knee, letting your ankles, your toes relax however they may. Stacking your props or using props in any way, shape, or form to support the fold over this right shin. You can always bring your elbows down and hold your head in your hands. You might cross at the forearms and let your forehead have an extra pillow. Maybe you're going to sit upright. You'll just bring a pillow or blanket on top of your lap. Okay, choosing for deer or half dragonfly, whatever will be most interesting for you. You can always start in one variation or go to the others. The best thing about Yin is that you don't have to have a game plan. And other times, plans are definitely important. Don't get me wrong. In Yin, you can take this one idea of a shape and just see what your body is feeling, how your breath is guiding you. Sometimes you realize you have more space to stretch than you may have realized. Sometimes you notice that you have less space than you may have thought. So adjusting is important. You have to be able to observe that. Never settling into stillness to fight the body or to force the body, always working with the body. You may have already softened a few times now that we've been here. Continuing to reclaim space within the body. There's always one part of the body compressing in some way, another part of the body expanding, lengthening, elongating. Wherever you are, we'll be in our fold for a few more breaths. Letting the body receive from this time in quieter space and stillness. And then whenever you're ready, we'll gently begin to press down, walking ourselves up and out of the shape, moving any props out of the way and or moving the body in any particular angle. Letting yourself release from that fold with any counter movements. No right or wrong. And then, of course, settling into rebound, wherever that might be. Simply basking in our awareness. Observing the internal environment. Observing this internal space helps us to understand the external space. Or how we're looking to show up for it. If you'd like to stay here a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to do so. If you're ready to release from the stretch, from rebound, we'll gently come back up to sit. No rush, of course. Take any movements along the way, depending on where you are. And then we're gonna look for maybe a pillow and a blanket, or at least just one of those. We're gonna come into our heart bench. So I would probably use a blanket for that. I'll have a pillow for my head, but I'll also take a blanket and I'm gonna fold it maybe in like a rectangle type of fashion. I'll kind of make it sloppy, but just to show you the point. So that blanket will be folded horizontally. The thinner the blanket, less stretch. The thicker the blanket, more stretch. So just so you know for that, or depending on how you fold it, as thinly or thick. Now, once you get your shoulder blades onto the blanket here, right? The shoulder blades, each shoulder blade, east and west, right? So we're going to want to find just the sweet spot for that. The back of the head can reach towards the floor, but if the neck or head would like some comfort, for me, I usually prop. Your arms might end up taking this cactus shape, and then you can even see that we're going to start to create this arch, right? It's just the shoulder blades that are on the blanket, right? If the arch within your back, though, does need some support, take another blanket, take another pillow, and prop that area of your body. You can always bend the knees, lift up the tailbone, and just thread something underneath the back. To be honest, I like that too. Then I don't need the pillow for my head. So sometimes it's just about trying different things and then doing what's best for your body. But we're coming into our heart bench here. Or I'm sorry, I was calling it heart bench. I meant lung bench. Heart bench is when we have the blanket or blocks vertical. When we have them horizontal, it's lung bench. Anyway, you're welcome to keep your legs out long. That's usually what I like to do. If you want to come into butterfly, though, you're more than welcome to. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Any blocks or props needed for the outer thighs, you're welcome to. Letting your arms rest on the body, or like I mentioned, maybe in a cactus type of shape. Whenever you're ready, we'll settle here. Maybe noticing sensations of stretch through the shoulder blades, through the collarbones, the chest. Sometimes there's more sensations through the back body or more sensations through the front body. But again, we're engaging our fascial tissue. Letting any knots of tissue lengthen and detangle at their own pace and within their own way, not trying to rush the body by any means. And sometimes you might find the breath flowing effortlessly. Maybe to help stay focused, you find yourself counting your breaths and really noticing the length of the inhales or the length of the exhales. But in our lung bench here, we'll rest for a few more breaths. Maybe softening a little more deeply. And then whenever you're ready, you might first begin to awaken the legs in any way. Maybe your arms follow that by stretching up and past the head or lowering down by the hips. Eventually, being mindful of your props, will roll to one side. You'll rest on your side body, feeling your props underneath you. Whether you choose to stay on the side or pressing down gently, walking yourself up to sit. It just depends where the body takes you into that moment of rebound. You might straighten out the legs, and to counter the back bend, let the body fold. You might even hang here in this caterpillar shape during rebound, or just take a breath and then rebound somewhere else. Noticing the subtle sensations in the back body and the spine. but as well as the front body or the hips. Noticing any expansion within the breath, the way the nervous system has reset itself or recalibrated itself. And if you'd like to stay here a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to. But whenever you're ready, let's gently begin to awaken from rebound. No rush. You'll find any counter movements, whatever feels good. And then let's come into one more pose. This pose will probably take up, well, it's two sides. It's sleeping, not sleeping swan, straight leg pigeon. So it'll probably take up the rest of our time right before Shavasana. So for straight leg pigeon, no rush to get there. We're going to start with the left leg. So if I was to face you, I'm going to turn to the right and allow my left leg to lengthen. Right? We're going to want to fold over that left leg and have the right knee bend behind. Right? So if I were to turn to the side, show you the same thing. Left leg lengthens, right knee bends behind me, and then we're looking to fold over the thigh. Right? And of course, your pillows and blankets would be here, propping your left outer hip, letting something rest underneath your chest or your forehead. Right? We're not trying to keep the toes up. We're going to let everything fold down. You can even bend into your left knee a little bit. No need to keep the leg locked. Right? So the knee can bend. But let me just show it from one more side or one more angle. If I was facing forward, I want to take my left leg out to this right side here, shifting on the hips, right? Here's my left leg, not trying to keep it up, let it roll with you as you fold over the thigh. Okay. Left knee can bend a little bit as well, if helpful. And then this right knee can go down. Now, if that right knee doesn't relax, you take a pillow or blanket underneath it as you fold. But if you're not sure of something, of course, just let me know. But I've taught this shape before. Straight leg pigeon is actually one of my favorite poses. You can take this a bunch of different ways. You can fold kind of neutral over the thigh or over the quad. But if you walk to your left, walk away from your foot, that might guide you into something. If you walk to your right and walk towards your left leg, that might also guide you into a different sensation. The spine is facing a different angle. So you're welcome to explore this however you'd like, staying at your palms, coming to your forearms. As the body softens, checking in with the breath. Letting the body receive whatever is needed. The discomfort offers us an opportunity to notice our strength or to notice our resiliency. Rather than blocking or hiding from the discomfort, instead softening towards it, breathing towards it. Letting us find comfort within discomfort. I'm going to be here in straight leg pigeon for a few more breaths. And whenever you're ready, very slowly, let's begin to walk ourselves out of the shape, which is a part of the experience as well. Feeling the shifts of sensation, fascial tissue contracting back, and body absorbing that new information. Letting that settle into the muscle memory of the body, the memory of the nervous system. Just like that sensation, that feeling after you foam roll or acupuncture or massage. That moment of absorption for the body. Also allowing the mind to stay open and aware. Taking another cleansing breath or two here. If you need to stay and rebound longer, of course, you're welcome to stay. Or when you're ready, we'll let ourselves prepare for straight leg pigeon on the opposite side. So now it is where we come to sit on the right hip and the right leg lengthens as we roll over this right thigh, left knee bends behind us. It's kind of like a back leg of deer as we lengthen over the right thigh. Right knee can bend a little bit here as well. And if you feel like your lower back is just, is not comfortable in any way, or your right hip is digging into the floor, you might glide just a piece of pillow or blanket underneath that right hip. And just that little lift is going to be supportive for the overall stretch. And you'll settle here whenever you're ready. Allowing the feet to relax, noticing the space between the toes. Relaxing through the ankles, releasing through the muscles of the calves, and the knees and the thighs, softening. Helping to relax through the layers of the glutes and softening through the inner hips, the outer hips. You might feel your abdomen relax. And spaces between the ribs, breathing. Letting the chest soften beneath you as the whole back spine expands above you. Reclaiming more and more space. And softening through the sides of the neck, relaxing into the throat. Unclenching the jaw, releasing through the tongue. And as you soften through the eyes, if they're squinting, the temples of the forehead. Maybe even noticing the space at the crown of the head. Wherever your hands might be supporting you, notice the space between the fingers. And the forearms relaxing into the crease of the elbow. Body continuously stretching as we soften. And we'll be here for just a few more breaths. And then whenever you're ready, we'll gently press down. And as we begin to release from the stretch, you'll let your body guide you, facing any particular direction on the mat, off the mat. You might take a final seated movement, a stretch to the arms, for the side body, for the legs, whatever it will be. But once your body is ready to actually lay back down, take your props with you, as our final rebound will be Shavasana. Not needing to focus on much, just staying present within the body. Resting in Shavasana however you'd like. Time to absorb your practice layer by layer. Continuing to receive any messages from the physical or energetic body, any notes of wisdom. And as we rest here in our mindful moments, let's welcome ourselves to Shavasana. And very gently, let's begin to deepen the breath, drawing our attention back to the body, back to the feeling of the room that we are in. Within your own time, we can wiggle into the fingers and toes, and we can roll into the wrists and the ankles. We might stretch the arms up and above the head to lengthen. From there, knees can bend in and feet can come flat to the floor. We might windshield wiper the knees from side to side and gently awaken through the torso. Maybe we'll hug the knees into the chest. But whenever you're ready, we'll roll either to the left or to the right, feeling the release of the back. We can stay here and end practice, or we'll gently press down and walk ourselves slowly up to sit. Closing however you'd like. Just taking a moment of reflection here as our body sits tall. Noticing any reclaimed space, expansion, or clarity. Now hands can stay relaxed within the lap, or hands could gather into prayer. And let's close with one cleansing breath or the sound of Om. In gratitude, let's breathe in. Om. And gently bowing the chin to the chest. Thank you for practicing with me this evening. Namaste.